It is that time of year, my AKA Padders. It's horror season. It's October. It's the 31 Days of Dread, where we do on this podcast, AKA Pad, the Film Buff Podcast. That's me. We do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. This year, it's nothing but black and white movies. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's connect these dots. You guys know we are this 31 Days of Dread, this 2025 edition has become in somewhat of this dissection now of H.P. Lovecraft on film. And to think about it, the one H.P. Lovecraft movie that everyone can agree is fantastic. It's The Mist, 2007. There's no dispute of how perfect of a movie this is, how incredible of an ending, and probably some of the best creature design in all of Hollywood history. What if I told you because we're watching multiple movies here, like a lot of times in my film lab, we'll call it, I cross pollinate. I'll start watching one movie and I'll switch to another, and then it goes back and forth. I want to talk to you about Gremlins 2, the new batch, 1990. The Mist, 2007. So we're going back. If you don't know the plot of Gremlins 2, it's essentially a lab in a somewhat of like allegorical, like at the time, deconstruction of Donald Trump's personality, I think, is throughout Gremlins 2, the new batch. And I think we need further analysis. But the whole movie takes place in this mega skyscraper that has like everything. It's a shopping mall, art studio. It's got like a film division where they do movies and like all this stuff. It's like everything you need. Like everything of society is in this giant skyscraper in New York City. And they have this Elvira of the Dark show where someone in a spooky attire, spooky character introduces horror movies, and it's like a drive-through theater. You can hang out with this person and watch horror movies. And this character, Avo Fred, played by Robert Polsky, he has dreams. Like in this movie, he's like this Dracula character, and he has a like a cross-eyed puppet. In the movie, he wants to be, and we see it. It's a good payoff. He gets his moment. He wants to be a news anchor, taken seriously. He wants to be a part of people's lives. He doesn't want to be this tchotchke character on TV talking about horror movies. And he has a gripe with Clamp, Daniel Clamp, played by John Glover, who we love from Batman Forever. Clamp doesn't like black and white horror movies. So there's this scene where they're walking off the set, and he's talking with Zach, Zach from the first Gremlins, one of our survivors. And he's saying, Clamp, man, like he doesn't understand horror movies. They're all in color, and he doesn't know that only black and white, only the great horror movies are in black and white. And they kind of make a stamp on that. They make a clear assertion that Gremlins, the predecessor, is a great horror movie, but it's not in black and white. So it's somewhat like reflective. These are the moments I like in film sometimes. I think they're real like film buff moments. So Frank Darabont, when I want to say, like, maybe he saw this scene. Maybe he knew what it meant. I know what it means. Because I agree with it to a large extent. True horror, black and white. Just make it black and white. But we know the audience for that is shrinking. It's a little bit depressing, isn't it? Frank Darabont, when he set out to make The Mist, he wanted it to be black and white. He wanted this to be a black and white movie. And I remember like hearing about that, right? Like you would hear about things like that. You would hear about like a longer cut of this movie. I think all of his movies, The Majestic, everything outside of Shawshank, like everything post Shawshank, all the Darabont films just became like long and huge. I'm not even sure what he's been up to. What has he been up to? I don't know. Like, what's his quick filmography? Right? Like, yeah, like Green Mile, right? Like huge running times for like all of his stuff. The last film I didn't know The Mist was his last movie. He's writer for the Blob remake, one of the great remakes of all time. The Fly 2, one of the great sequels of all time. I didn't realize he wrote Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's a great movie. I mean, everything he touched, you really want to say, fantastic. I mean, writer for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, what so many people consider to be the greatest of all of those. This podcast was first named after Nightmare 3, Dream Warriors. Back in the day, we used to call this show The Dream Warriors. So, there we go, right? And then, like, through this digital world we live in, through DVD releases and all this stuff, it's not just the modern, like, products and stuff. It's also the consumers. The consumers, in my view, have gotten way more intelligent. I mean, guys, I know so many of you consume this podcast. Look how intelligent you are. So they finally came out with it. They dropped it. The Mist, black and white, as it was intended. And I will say this. This is one of the biggest shifts that I've seen in the film experience. After you see The Mist in black and white, you cannot see it in color. It's the same reaction, sometimes when they colorize some of these movies. And you might know the color version, and some of the colorization is pretty damn good sometimes. And you might fall in love, like in your mind's eye, this is how you see the movie. But then when you see it in black and white, it changes you. I think there's a similar experience when you memorize paintings and you become, like myself, a art book collector. It's such an obsessive hobby. And just for example, there might be like Cezanne's Tiger Lilies or like a Cezanne painting. And you might like have it. You might have it in a couple different books, couple different prints, couple different forms. And let's just say like you've lived around this piece. You might even have it up on your wall. But then you see the real. And you see how big and massive it is. And it takes up a whole room. And you never quite look at a picture of it the same way again because of the scope and the scale. I think black and white movies hold that power. I think they hold that power more than anything in color. What Frank did here with this movie and with the black and white release, I mean, AKAPAD, some of the best creatures we've seen of the modern day is in this movie. Some of the absolute true dread we have seen on screen, impending doom, is here. It's a hard thing. It's such a tough shell to crack sometimes to make an audience feel on edge the entire time. Where again, we're a little bit Night of the Living Dead. We're held up in the house. The people will face each other as they face what's outside. And which is worse, but in Night of the Living Dead, and other zombie versions of that, Dawn of the Dead, will say the people in conflict are maybe worse than the terror beyond the door. But in the mist, they're not. What's beyond the door in the mist is absolute true evil. And it's a unmovable force, or it cannot be stopped. And the way how this movie wraps up, you say to yourself, man, like, I wish this was a show. I mean, I wish this was like a sequel. Like, give me more of this. I need to know what happens next. And I really feel like the anticipation around that led to Cloverfield, which was, let's see one of these giant, like, Lovecraftian kaiju creatures like wreak havoc onto the world. Let's see that. I do feel like that's the origin of Cloverfield. And I do want to say, everything I described to you, from Gremlins 2, the new batch, 1990, I think Frank Darabont saw that. He saw it. And he made a movie for it. Alright, AKA Padders, I love you, rock and roll.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production, take 2.
Let's take this time real quick, AKA Padders, my fellow film buffers, and let's just go over the schedule. This is years in the making. This type of rollout I've been planning for years, but we're finally here. So here we go. Early in the morning, that's the new stuff. 8 a.m. Now, 8 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these are movies maybe of something coming out. Like if there's a Marvel movie coming out and we want to do a retrospective on that particular franchise, or, you know, if Sylvester Stallone comes back and gives us Rocky Part 18, we might want to use the later time slots for a week or two to go over all of the Rocky movies. Now, we have a lot of different threads on this podcast that's explored 8 p.m. So 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. This is our creator spotlight. We could do an episode on Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, some of the new guys, Spike Lee, even composers, guys like John Williams. This brings us into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning. Again, we're back at that 8 a.m. drop. We do cartoons because I want to emulate the times where you would wake up with a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then eventually you would get to touch grass because you would have one of your friends knocking on your door to play in a touch football game or even some baseball, basketball. The weekend nights, let's get into education. 8 p.m. Again, all of our drops are either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. But the weekend nights, documentaries, and I focus on creative documentaries because I feel like a part of this film buff movement that we're all bathing in, that I'm super grateful for, is education. And some of where we're finding our facts, some of the, general enjoyment, because I love documentaries. All of this is explored at 8 o'clock p.m. And trust me, there's a lot there. There's a lot out there that I didn't even know existed. And we're going to go beyond that too. We're going to get into some of the graphic art, some of the special effects, some of the makeup documentaries. There's a lot to learn, and I'm so happy to bring you the 9 p.m. because, you guys know, I'm an autodidact. I am self-educated. Sure, I have some certifications. Sure, I spent time at the Art Institute of Philadelphia for animation. But in large, I'm a self-educated, self-made person that's connected to the weekend 8 p.m. drops. My AKA Padders, my film buffers, I hope to see you there for all of it. I love you guys, and rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.